Puis,
Tu préfères 25e?
je m'en ai fait du changement pour un 25e. Merci.
Thank you very much.
Ah, ben, c'est ben, tu n'étais pas pire pour les placer. Si je pensais à vous autres, moi,
Non, mais
c'est
c'était pas
tabarnak.
pire.
Il y avait 3 paires. Là, tu sais, puis-
Joanie a placé ça 25 fois.
Ah, ouais, c'est sûr. Là,
Là, j'ai rien.
quand ils sont arrivés, ils sont installés n'importe
Non,
où.
non, c'était correct, mais là, j'ai dit à Joanie, envoyez un email, là. Envoyez un email, ouais, si vous voulez qu'ils attendent. Puis elle dit, bon,
Ouais.
tant mieux que ça, on va les rembourser. Chris, on a eu 23.
Ah, ouais.
Ça fait eu 23 places.
Ah,
Là,
c'est pour ça que la tente est libre dehors. On a rien, la petite tente, parce qu'ils les abreuvoirs. Ils disent, ah, ben, elle a donné un break, c'était un peu plus lourd, ça des places.
il a placé ses affaires.
Ah, ouais. Yep. Ça va, toi?
Ouais.
Vieillis tout le temps? Grandis tout le temps?
Bon, le grand un peu moins.
Ouais, j'ai quand même grandi pas mal. Dépassé ton père, dépassé ta mère.
Bon, là, on va faire longtemps.
Ouais, ben ça, à 16 ans, tu l'avais dépassé.
Yeah, you want it phonetically or you want to spell it? I'm actually. Okay. Yeah. Randall. No, my son. Yeah. Okay, Garrett. 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 G is in G. G like John. Garrett. Yeah.
Wonderful, how are you?
Yeah. We're here all day.
Usually, okay, when we do the announcement and things like that, sometimes the judge here or something,
Yeah. We'll try to coordinate.
Yeah, that's what usually it's work well.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Good morning.
Trent.
Francis.
Francis?
Yeah.
Good to meet you.
My guy. Your guy. The president of the...
Okay, perfect. If I start running my names, I'll ask them when they're ready, the main guys, or you guys ready? I'm good whenever you guys are.
The travel with the blood pressure, on time.
C'est quoi? Tout à l'heure, ça fait bon. Peut-être déjà. peux qu'il n'ait déjà vu. Ah, c'est pas rempli. C'est comme le mandat, c'est elle, la...
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here in Victoriaville this morning. We got a really nice class of Herefords to start with. We started out with a big, powerful, stout kind of calf here to begin our class. Here's one that's really well balanced, really strong in that forerib, plenty of muscle, adequate bone. Really nice masculine head on this bull, gets out and travels well, like the foot under this bull. Here's just a really nice example of a polled Hereford bull calf. Follow him up with another high-performance kind of calf, maybe not quite as tidy in his overall makeup, maybe not showing me quite the same muscle shape, but you really appreciate the frame and performance that he brings to the table, a lot of length and extension. Started with the third place calf is our youngest calf. Our youngest calf in the class. Here's one that's real correct. He's got a really neat future in front of him. He's really long-sided, really attractive, gets out and travels real well. I like his head. I think it's masculine and appropriate for his age. A really stylish kind of calf, like him real well. We've got a more powerful calf coming in fourth here. Here's one that's just not quite as attractive as in the overall makeup. He's long, he's smooth, but he gives up a little bit of muscle and style to the calves above him. Then we've got a couple of calves that maybe just don't have quite as much power and character in them today to stand higher in the class. A really nice class to start our day.
Un, deux. Alors, bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. Bienvenue à l'Expo Boeuf édition 2025. Alors, on a commencé le jugement dans la race Hereford. Alors, pour la classe numéro 1 des taureaux de l'année, en première position, chapeau numéro 4 de Stonewood Grange. En deuxième position, chapeau numéro 7 de Candace Black. En troisième position, de Ray Smith avec l'exhibit Black River. En quatrième position, de Marie-Claude Normandin avec NL North Star. Et en cinquième position, de Carl Labbé avec Labbé Nido King. Finalement, sixième position avec l'exhibit 500H North Law. de Alan Hicks.
Après-midi, les cimentaires, ils prennent tout, eux autres, hein? C'est ça.
Oui, tu vas dans la pente.
Ouais, c'est ça, je dis, parce que c'est ça que Coach me demandait, les Highlands, là, tout ça. Fait que, oui, je m'envoie au bord, moi, parce que les autres s'organisent avec les affaires. Là.
Alors, on va débuter aussi dans la race Angus. Notre juge aujourd'hui pour la race Angus, c'est Garrett Liebridge, un éleveur Angus de Radville, Saskatchewan. Et pour ce qui est de la race Hereford, le juge aujourd'hui est également M. Liebridge, le père de Garrett, un éleveur d'Angus de Radville, Saskatchewan.
Ça fait spécial de s'entendre comme on parle.
Quel nom que nous vous donne, les deux? À ton nom? Parce que là, elle a enlevé le nom. Puis là, elle a pu avoir une chambre là, hier soir, mais là, elle n'a pas redonné. Et là, il va. Et là, ça n'a pas checké hier. Là, elle en avait une pour hier soir puis hier soir? OK. Parce que là, matin, il faut qu'elle descende pour juger le limousin, c'était pas le faire. C'était pas prévu, ça, là. Ben là, elle s'en vient, mais on lui a donné, elle va être ici à 9 h.
Non, moi j'ai mis ça, comment que c'est un nom? C'est quoi,
Bouba?
j'ai mis le nom de Bouba.
Ah, oui! Pourtant, elle dit qu'il n'y avait rien. Au point de vie? Fait que tu lui aurais mis à son nom personnel à elle?
J'ai mis au librette, j'ai mis à elle.
Bon, oui. Parce que là, elle disait qu'il n'y avait rien. Elle a pu avoir les chambres hier soir, là, mais là, comme à soir, elle n'a pas.
C'est sûr qu'on a eu un deux, mais deux le soir. Les deux, trois autres à soir, deux hier.
Là, je ne sais pas quand ça s'est changé, ça, le juge pour elle, pour juger les limousins, c'était pas le temps, mais j'ai vu ça là. Ah!
Supposément, il est mis sur une table quelque part hier soir, puis ils sont tous partis avec. Ben, je sais pas. Je sais pas si c'est vrai. Moi, je vais mettre ça là-bas, là.
I use this? Test. Well, good morning. I sure appreciate being out here. What a really impressive set of Angus bull calves we have out here in front of us. This calf that goes ahead and leads the class, I just love him in terms of his muscle and his length. Young lady, you can go out and take him for a lap around and show him off to the crowd. I'll have you just pull him out around. This is a bull calf that you gotta love the absolute power and masculinity he has. There's a tremendous amount of length in this bull. He's really good in terms of his joints. He's adequate in terms of his scrotal. He just gives a really good look off the side. Where I would like to change him just a little bit, I would just like to make it a little squarer out of his hip, and that's where that calf in second is absolutely awesome. I love the design of this one's hip and hind leg. You get in behind him, he gets out and travels extremely well. Where I take issues with him, he's just a little bit tighter in terms of his heart and his forerib, but that's an awfully good looking bull to stand second. We got a rugged masculine bull coming in third, one with some power and performance, just not quite as neat and tidy in his design as those two in front of him. Our young man's red calf coming in next is just really well balanced. He gets out and travels, except I would just like to stretch him out everywhere. He's just a little bit compact in his kind, but that's an awfully nice bull. Our bull coming in next is another long-sided, good body bull. You just need to modify him on the move, make him a little bit more comfortable, and have him travel a little bit more square as he goes. We got a long-sided, good jointed calf coming in next to round off our class. One that just doesn't have the extra power performance as those ones ahead of him. But what a nice class of bulls to start off the Angus show.
Alors, résultat dans la race Angus, en première position, propriété de Covey Hill avec l'exhibit Covey Hill Blue Steel. En deuxième position, avec EF Dictator de la ferme Enright. En troisième position, de la ferme Black Earth Livestock avec Mr. Boom Static. Et en quatrième position, de RK Cattle avec l'exhibit Red Holmes Show Off. Et en cinquième position de Harmer Farm avec Harmer Profound. Et finalement en sixième position de la ferme Bray Farm avec l'exhibit Justify Sunny.
Are you guys able to use this microphone here? Are you able to use this microphone here to announce?
This one is better.
Oh, okay. I'll bring it back to you. Otherwise, I was going to put it in my phone.
There we go. Tremendous set of January bull calves here. We've got a really, really strong first three placings, very close in my mind. There's a lot of variation as we get past that, but in these first three calves, you really appreciate them. I'm going to start with the calf that shows me the most masculinity, the most muscle, the most character at this point in time. Clean sheath calf that moves real well. Really appreciate the overall makeup of this calf. If I could change him a little bit, I would strengthen him in that forerib, but I really like a lot of the muscle and the length in this calf and the character. The bull that follows him in second, beautiful profiling calf, really long, really correct in his angles, gets out and travels real well. Really appreciate his overall look. Gives up a little muscle to that first place calf. Very close placing, and he's going to be a really interesting calf as well. Then I've got a bull that's got a lot of performance.
Quelle heure se finit la vente à soir? Mettre une alarme à 7h.
We have two bulls that are very different in this class. I started the bull, this bull class with the bull that's just a little smoother made, a bull that gets out and travels real well. Really like the way he handles his hawk on the move. Sound on the ground, really nice, attractive, fronted, masculine kind of bull. Where he gives up something to the second place bull is from the standpoint of muscle. If you're looking for that muscle and mass, you really have to appreciate this second place bull. He's long-sided, he's really stout. He's got a ton of character in him, big testicles, clean sheath, lots to appreciate. Just doesn't move quite as well as the bull that I started the class with. Two very good bulls.
Alors, dans la race Hereford, les taureaux nés du 1er mars 24 au 31 août 2024, en première position, propriété de Stonewood, avec l'exhibit Stonewood Mungli. Et en deuxième position, propriété de Bar GM, avec CCC Chisholm 456 M.
We've got an awfully good pair of bulls to start off this class. They couldn't be more different in their kind, but I sure do think they're both high quality. The bull that's going to go ahead and win this class just got a tremendous amount of length from his shoulder back. He's super stout when you get him behind him. He's true in terms of his rib cage. He's got an ample amount of muscle. He's really clean sheath. Where I would like to change him is I'd like to make him a little more relaxed in terms of the angle of that shoulder and make him just a little more comfortable on the move. But that's a rugged, really dense, really good looking individual to win our class. Really nice bull coming in second. As I said, this bull just travels around exceptionally well. I really like him in terms of his body shape. I like the skull on this bull. He just gets a little bit quicker in terms of his maturity pattern, but that's an awfully good bull to stand second. We got a bull that's got a ton of length and some muscle coming in next. He travels exceptionally well. Just a bull that doesn't have the extra bone and hair to compete with those calves ahead of him. Our young lady's bull coming in next is one that's incredibly long-sided. He's stout and shapely when you get him behind him. I would just like to give this calf a shot more scrotal development underneath him and make him a little bit more free out of those rear two to go any higher. We got a really well-balanced, good-looking calf coming in next, one that gives you a really good look of quality from the side. He just gets a little bit tighter-hearted and a little bit narrower in his construction as he goes away. We got a really practical calf coming in next, one that's sound as it gets. He just doesn't have that extra power of those calves ahead of him. And our young man's red calf rounding off the class, his sound and his design. He's just a little bit too small for me today. Thank you.
Alors, dans la race Angus, pour les taureaux nés entre le 1er janvier 2025 et le 5 juillet 2025, en première position, propriété de Mac Angus Farm avec de Mac Laredo. En deuxième position, chapeau numéro 163, de Double H Cattle avec KCC Happy Hour. En troisième position, de service animal noiseux avec San 312 Top Gun. En quatrième position, de Covey Hill avec Covey Hill Slate. En cinquième position, de Range Dynamic avec Dynamic Easy Decision. Et en sixième position, de Hammer Farm avec Hammer Emerald. Et en 16e position de Ranch Iron Hill avec Red Iron Hill, Mr. Hulk.
Nice pair of bulls in this mature division. I started with a bull that's really, really smooth in his overall makeup. He's well conditioned today. He's a bull that gets out and travels nicely, adequate from the standpoint of testicle development, a masculine kind of bull, good sheath, good on the ground, got some muscle to him. Second place bull, you really appreciate the length and the style that this bull brings to town. I just like to see him handle that rear pastern a little better, be a little softer on it on the move, and maybe just give him a little more testicle development. Nice pair of bulls in our senior division.
Alors, dans la race Hereford, résultat, les taureaux nés entre le 1er janvier 2024. En première position de Hickinson avec RV Chief. Et en deuxième position de Hayden Lodge avec ABL Magmus.
Nice set of bulls in our junior division championship here again. I've explained them as I saw them. I'm going to go out and pick two bulls that I feel are the soundest, that bring the most quality to the table.
Back in the Angus ring, we've got our calf champion, and I tell you what, I think we got the right four bulls out here. They're all really good individuals in their own right. I'll go show you the two I like best, but prior to that, let's give these exhibitors a hand.
Alors, dans la race Hereford, on a fait le championnat junior et le gagnant pour le championnat junior, c'est de la ferme Stonewood avec l'exhibit Stonewood Mowgli et le réserve junior de Bar GM avec CCC Chisholm 456M.
Ah, vous avez fait le mot, vous autres? OK. C'est correct, là, mais c'est rendu qu'ils splitent des choses, le split pour essayer de faire des choses.
Sure have to appreciate this bull on the move. For a bull with that much mass and scale, he just gets out and travels real loose, appropriate on those pasterns, really soft, gets it, angles are right, he gets out and really gives you a nice look on the move. Not the stoutest bull we've seen all day, maybe give him a little more strength in that heart girth, but you appreciate the masculinity, the length, clean sheathed, and appreciate the movement especially. Congratulations.
Alors, le gagnant dans cette classe de Hereford, propriété de M&M Livestock avec l'exhibit Torch View Integrity.
Let's put our hands together for this really nice set of Hereford bulls that we've got gathered here today. It's been a really nice set of cattle in front of me today. We really appreciate the quality from end to end. We've got some exceptional individuals here. When I'm looking at a championship class like this, I'm looking at these calves and I'm projecting them forward. I'm looking at these yearling bulls and I'm projecting them forward. And I'm trying to think of what I'm going to like the best when they're mature. I think it's one thing to bring exceptional calves to town, but they've got to have the ability to go forward and become those mature cattle that we really want and really appreciate. With that said, I'm still going to go out and pick my 2 favorites the way I see them. I appreciate the muscle, the soundness that's been brought before me today, and I'm going to use the 2 I like the best for my program.
Alors, pour la race Hereford, le grand champion pour l'Expo Boeuf 2025, propriété de Stonewood avec l'exhibit Stonewood Mowgli. Et la réserve grand champion, propriété de Bar GM avec CCC Chimson 456M.
Another nice class of bulls out here in the Angus ring. This calf or yearling that goes ahead and wins, I feel, is just exceptionally well balanced. He's a well-traveling bull. He's good in terms of his angles. He's good in terms of his joints. He gives you a really nice look off the side. He's good in terms of his body shape. He's stout enough, and he's acceptable in terms of his scrotal. That's a good bull to go ahead and win. We get into the really long-bodied bull in the class, coming in second, one with some power, one that's got a nice head, carriage, and crest. I just need to make this bull a little bit stronger over his spine and give him a shot more scrotal development at this stage in the game for him to be any higher. We get into a really neat-looking bull coming in next, one that hits you with a real look of quality when he's parked on the side. I just need to free that bull up when he goes. He gets a little bit tighter in terms of his hocks and pasterns, a little bit shorter in terms of his maturity pattern. Our young lady's bull rounding off the class gives you a really nice look off the side. He's sound traveling. He just gets a little bit weaker about his skull, and I need to give him a shot more scrotal to go any higher.
Alors, dans la race Angus, pour la classe numéro 4 des taureaux nés entre le 1er janvier 2024 et le 29 février 2024, en première position de Harmer Farm avec Harmer Judgment, en deuxième position de Cover Hill Farm avec Cover Hill National, En troisième position également de Armor Farm avec Armor Robuste. Et en quatrième position de Range Dynamic avec Dynamic Mr. Guarantee.
Yeah, we got in last night. How about you? Monday morning, we drive back to the next city tomorrow. You guys plan lunch or not? How much fun is flying all that stuff? really impressive trio of bulls out here in the senior division. I tell you what, this bull that goes ahead and wins, when he gets moving, is truly impressive. He's incredibly sound at the ground. He's long spined. He gives you a wicked look off the side. He's high tying and strong skulled. Big barreled, good bull to go ahead and win. Get into a rugged, really well-made bull coming in next. He just gets a little bit tighter right in behind that shoulder, a little bit shorter in stature compared to that champion bull. And our bull rounding off the class is one that just gets outside of himself a little bit when he goes. I would just like to tie him up, a nickel in his chest, and give him a shot more muscle, but an awfully good set of bulls.
Alors, dans la classe numéro 5 des Angus, en première position, propriété de Mac Angus Farm avec Mac Shade 23L. En deuxième position, de Black Arts avec l'exhibit G Starlight. Et en troisième position, de la ferme Wright avec Rideau Lee Change.
Well, I gotta say, we've had an awfully impressive Angus Bull show to start off this morning. There's some awfully good individuals in here in the ring, the ones that'll go out and perform in any setting, and there's a couple of them I really like out here. I'll go show you the two I like best, but before that, let's give these exhibitors a big round of applause.
chevaux matures, là, je veux dire. Il était deuxième.
We've got a really nice set of heifer calves to start off this Hereford female show. I've got one that just sticks out in this class in my mind from the standpoint of power and balance, femininity. This heifer does a lot of things right. You appreciate that forerib, that depth she brings to you. I love the bone under this heifer. I like the extension. I really like the head and the skull in this heifer. I mean, very attractive female, hard to foal. Follow her with a heifer that's very attractive. Extended kind of heifer, not quite the same mass and volume as the heifer above her, but you really appreciate the angles in this heifer and the movement, the length, the femininity. I think one that's got tremendous potential is the brood cow. Follow with probably the most moderate kind of heifer in the goggle-eyed heifer that's third in this class. Really like this heifer off the side. Really appreciate the depth of flank, the freedom of movement, like the strength in her skull. Little disappointing when you get behind her. I'd like to just see her a little wider, pull those pins apart a nickel, maybe give her a little more top. Off the side, heifer's hard to foal. Really appreciate her. Then we've got the youngest heifer in the class, and boy, this one's attractive. I mean, she is long-fronted. She is really adequate in her movement and her angles. Really appreciate that. Like to give her a little more depth and a little more thickness, but boy, there's one that is attractive, and if she continues to develop, you're going to really like this one as a bred. Round out the class with a really solid kind of heifer, just a little more frail in her makeup and not quite the same class as the heifers above her, but a very useful kind of heifer and a very good class.
Alors, dans la race Hereford, dans les génisses de l'année, en première position, chapeau numéro 22 de Stonewood avec Stonewood Shottel. En deuxième position, de Double H Cattle avec Double H Zumba. Et en troisième position, de Rebecca East avec Kid She Model. Et en quatrième position, de Rebecca East aussi, avec Kid Miss Dolly, et en cinquième position de Gary and J. Bradley avec Maple Hill Nanny 113F.
C'est ça qui était écrit ici au début. J'ai regardé ici parce qu'il y a marqué les noms de... À moins que c'est un catalogue, mais c'est... Regarde, dans le... Voyons. Ici, là, quand tu regardes, c'est tout ça. Ici. Regarde. Gary. C'est Norton Valley. Ça n'a pas rapport, ça. Un peu. Qu'est-ce que c'est que c'est? Calice de tabarnak. C'est Kids Cattle. Rebecca East, c'est correct. Ah, c'est Benoît Côté. Benoît Côté. Qui est Benoît Côté? C'est Maple Hill, ça? Benoît Côté. Ah oui, c'est Maple Hill. Bon, je me suis trompé. Là, tabarnak, Maple Hill. C'était écrit Maple Hill là, en passant. C'est parce que des fois, parce que eux autres, ils m'ont dit, donne pas le nom d'Agnan, parce que, tu sais, tu peux pas dire que Boeuf, c'est, voyons, c'est ça. Chenaille, tu sais. Ah, ben, c'est pas grave. Là, il partira avec les animaux. Il va être content. Hey, c'est bizarre son affaire à lui.
Ah, c'est sorti tellement vite, oui, on va dire qu'il y a 3 jours, mais dans le fond, c'était pas vite. Ouais, ben, parce qu'il y avait tellement de misère avec. Il n'y a pas
Parce
eu
qu'il a
d'aide.
toujours été comme deuxième. Il était toujours
Ouais.
dans le milieu. Il n'a jamais été en avant.
Non, c'est ça.
We've got a real powerful heifer that sorts herself to the top of this class quite handily in my mind. Here's one with all the depth and volume and thickness that you could ask for in a female, and yet still feminine in front end, really nice through that neck and chest. A really attractive headed heifer. Again, you just appreciate the overall power, bulk, mass in this heifer while still maintaining that femininity and soundness. Follow her up with a heifer that's just a little plainer in that front third, and you really appreciate everything behind it. Just like to tidy that throat up. She gets a little thick through there, and I don't know if that's conditioner or overall makeup. I'd like to tidy that up, but a very powerful kind of heifer to follow very nicely. Our leadoff heifer, like the lines, like the length, like the movement, like the stoutness in this heifer. I like her skull. I just see her a little strong through that front end. Heifer that's in third is very close placing with second in my mind. Again, one that's very attractive and long-sided, really gives you a nice look as she moves out. One that I really appreciate. Again, a little stronger headed, and again, a little bit of throat in this heifer that I question. Again, in conditioner, body type. Love the body in the heifer, just like to change that front end a little bit. Love the hip and the hind leg, really like the way she travels. Then we've got a pair of really attractive, the heifer that I have next is the plainest heifer in the class. I apologize. This is one that you appreciate the depth, the length, the overall balance. Just like to tidy that front end up. She's maybe a little stronger skulled than I appreciate in a heifer calf of this age. Like the body type, got to appreciate that. Then we have two very attractive heifers that clean the class up. And again, heifers that you really appreciate the femininity, like the strength in this heifer, just like to give her a little more bulk and mass and bone to compete and stand higher. Heifer that rounds out the class is just a little weaker in her skull, a little less body, a little less thickness, a little less bone, but very attractive and very feminine.
Alors, résultat dans la race Hereford pour les femelles veaux nées entre le 1er janvier 2025 et le 5 juillet 2025. En première position, de Stillbrook Farm avec Stillbrook Nova. En deuxième position, de Paul Mastein avec Mastar Lisa. En troisième position, de Crystal Brook avec CB Nova. Quatrième position, de Maple Hill avec l'exhibit Maple Hill Notorious. Et en cinquième position, de Rebecca East avec Justa Mississippi. Et en sixième position, de Hilltop Genetic avec Hilltop Nela.
Well, a really striking, high-quality individual to start off our Angus female show. I tell you what, this is about as high-tying and as sleek-necked as you can make one. Working back behind her, she's huge-bodied, she's stout hip. I would just like to free her up just a nickel out of that hock when she goes, but what a look she gives you off the side. That's an awfully good one to start off the show. We get into a heifer that really follows that same cut. She's really good looking, really good about her shoulder. She's really good in terms of her body. Just gets a little bit tighter in terms of her hocks. I just like to knock her tail head just down and nickel for her to go any higher. We get a really well-balanced, really good heifer coming in third. One that's a mile long, one that's really Angus about her head. She's stout and level in her design. I would just like to soften her up and give her a little bit more rib shape for her to go any higher. We get into another really sound, really good looking heifer coming in next. One that's awesome in her forerib. I love the body shape. She gives you a really good look off the side. One that just gets a little bit narrow at the ground as she goes away from you. Another really nice heifer coming in that's really practical in the way she's put together. I like the angle of her shoulder. She utilizes her hip and hind leg well. She just gets a little bit narrower as she goes away from you, a little bit more restricted as she goes. Our young lady's heifer coming in next is a really beautiful fronted one that's really nice about her shoulder. She's good in terms of her body shape, but again, she just gets a little bit narrow and a little bit frailer when she goes away from you. Our young man rounding us off has got a broody, big-bodied heifer that's rounding off our class. One I just need to adjust a little bit in terms of her hip and hind leg for her to go any higher. But what a great set of heifers these exhibitors brought.
Alors, les résultats dans la classe des génisses, évidemment, il y avait beaucoup d'exhibits, donc il y a 5 groupes. Les résultats du premier groupe en première position, Las Vegas Farm avec Las Vegas Sandy. En deuxième position, Rock Creek Farm avec TVCC Mayflower. Et en troisième position, de Rock Creek Farm, également avec TVCC Proven Queen.
Quatre groupes, il y en a même un et deux. 5 groupes au bord, on va rentrer dans les deux. Son mari me dit on veut aller souper. Quand elle le souper. Ouais, ça vient du mélange. Ah ouais.
I'll be quite honest, this is the toughest class I've had to sort through all day. We've got a lot of variation in this class, and we've got a lot of trades to make in order to decide who lands where. And if you don't agree with me in this class, I'm not surprised. This is one that again, to follow a pattern or type is almost impossible. We've got a lot of variation. Started with the heifer that wins the class quite handily in my mind, probably pushing the boundaries of condition for me on a heifer calf. But you really appreciate her overall body type, her length, her mass, her femininity, the teat set underneath her. There's a lot of good in this heifer. I'd like to trim her up a little bit from a condition standpoint, but I love the heifer for her kind and her body and phenotype. Follow with a heifer that I'd like to change on the stand. I'd like to change the way she comes through her top and sets her pins down. Gets a little bit deep, it drops her pins a bit. It's a little weaker in that forerib, but you appreciate the femininity and the length and the overall balance in the heifer, and that brings her into second place. Heifer calf in third, again, is fairly similar. A little weaker in that overall structure as far as strength, thickness, muscle, all those things, but she's feminine, she's sound, she's long-sided, and you appreciate those things about her. She's got adequate volume, nicely conditioned, good kind of heifer. Problem heifer comes next. Here's a powerhouse. If you're selling them by the pound, you're saying, why is that heifer that far down this class? Here's one for me that you love the body, you love the rib shape, you love that forerib, the overall dimension, the bone. Not feminine enough for me today. Gets a little coarse through that head, gets a little coarse in that neck, and I just don't see the femininity I see in the heifers in the front of the class, and that's what puts her there. Then we've got a heifer that's got all the scale in the world. One that's really extended, one that's really feminine, one that's really long-sided, one really sound on the move. Just doesn't have the muscle or thickness, the pin width to stand higher in the class. Round out with a really nice little heifer that's very appropriate in her type. She's nice-headed. She just doesn't have the depth or overall thickness to stand higher. One that looks like she's going to make a brood cow. And again, a very difficult class for me just from the standpoint of the variation.
Back over here in the Angus, we've got a really high quality top pair of cattle that sort their way up. I tell you what, this young lady's heifer that goes ahead and wins is super fresh and elegant in her design. I love the striking look she gives you. She's super high tying. She's really good bodied. She's level through that hip. She travels quite sound. That's an awfully good heifer to go ahead and win. We get into a little bit more of a power heifer coming in next, one that's got a shot more bone and a little bit more body. I would just like to see this heifer a little bit fresher today. But that's a really good bodied, really good looking one to stand second. Our young man's heifer coming in third's an incredibly long-sided one that's stout when you get in behind her. She's just a little bit too bold in the shoulder there for me. Would just like to soften her up a nickel for her to go any higher. We get a really well-balanced, really practical kind of a heifer coming in next. This is one that's really good in terms of her angles and her joints. She just doesn't have that extra look or bone of those heifers ahead of her for her to go any higher. Our heifer next coming in is one that's an absolute train. You got to love the volume, the hip in this heifer. She just gets a little bit outside of herself when she goes. Would like to make her just a notch deeper for her to go any higher. We got a really sharp looking heifer to round off the class. One that you love when you get in behind her. She's big top, she's big hip. She just needs to be a little bit freer when she goes, and like to see her a little bit softer in terms of that rib cage.
Alors, résultat dans le Angus pour le groupe numéro 2 de 5. Les deux premiers reviendront à la fin. Alors, en première position, de Rock Creek Farm et Twin Valley, avec l'exhibit RCF TVCC Agnes. Et en deuxième position, la propriété de Anne Wright Farm, avec Primrose 25-25. Pour ce qui était de la race Hereford, le résultat du groupe numéro 3 de 4, en première position de Bar GM, avec Bar GM Jolene, et en deuxième position de Early Bird Farm, avec Early Bird Loretto.
C'est des bœufs, là? Non? Ah. Ah ouais. Non, je ne pas ça. Là.
Tu vas faire rentrer les deux premiers?
Ouais. Deux de chaque, là. Ça, je n'aurai pas, là. C'est qui?
22.
22-1.
Ouais, puis 24. Après ça, ça prend 29,
29, puis 30.
30. Après ça, 33, 36.
Tremendous pair of heifers to start this January heifer calf class. You just have to love the rib shape in this heifer that leads the class off, the overall profile that she gives you. She's tremendously proud through that front end. You love that extension, but yet that barrel and volume that she has when she goes, you really just appreciate the overall package we've got in first place. The heifer in second, very comparable, not quite as attractive, but that's saying a lot. I mean, the heifer that leads the class is extremely attractive. We've got a heifer that's very well balanced, really strong in her top, one that travels nicely, really like the leg under this heifer and the way she utilizes it, very feminine headed, very well balanced. Great pair of heifers. Third place heifer. Third place heifer is a heifer that gives us the same kind of profile. One that gives up a little bit in this, from the standpoint of with the pin, with the chest, one that's maybe just not quite as stout, but one you appreciate the femininity and length in. Then we'd follow with the heifer that's just a little more compact in her kind. The dark red heifer here is just a little plainer fronted. Just a little plainer fronted, maybe not quite as much width when you get behind her, like the body, like the depth, one that looks like a brood cow in the making. Then we have one that's just a little weaker in her top, one that's got a lot of volume, a lot of length, but just doesn't hold together quite as well as the heifers above her. And we round the class up with a heifer that's really long-sided, just maybe not quite as attractive in her hind leg set or through that front end, but you appreciate the length and the performance in this heifer that rounds out our class.
Alors, résultat du groupe numéro 4 pour les femelles les génisses de l'année dans la race Hereford. En première position de la ferme Hurley-Bird avec Hurley-Bird Beyonce. Et en deuxième position de Bard GM avec Bard GM Bill.
Back over here in the Angus, there's some really good heifers in the ring, and there's one that stands out. Here's an awesome body, an awesome moving one to go ahead and win. You can take her out for a lap and show her off. And this is a really good bodied, really good jointed one that just gives her a real maternal look from the side. Congratulations to you. Young lady's heifer coming in next is really sound in the way she's put together. I like the angle of that shoulder. I like her body type. Just doesn't have the extra snappy look of that heifer ahead of her. Just like to tidy her up in terms of her chest and maybe relax her just the nickel in her spine. Our heifer coming in third's an awfully striking, unique individual. She's really bold-bodied. This one's best days are ahead of her, and that's an awfully good heifer. We got a heifer that's an absolute freight train coming in next, one with a tremendous amount of length, one that's stout when you get in behind her. You would just like to soften her up a nickel and make her just a little bit neater up front for her to go any higher. Our young lady's heifer rounding off the class is one that's real fresh and good bodied. She's super stout when you get in behind her. Again, I just need to relax that one in her spine and make her move just a little bit more comfortable off either end.
Alors, résultat pour le groupe numéro 3 dans la race des génisses de l'année d'Angus. En première position de Mac Angus Farm avec Mac Delia. Et en deuxième position de la ferme Harmer avec Harmer Saving Grace. Alors, ces deux candidats vont revenir à la fin des 5 groupes.
Let's put our hands together for a tremendous set of Hereford heifer calves. I'll tell you, the cream rises, and we've got some cream in this class. It's a beautiful division. I think you couldn't go wrong taking any of these heifers home and turning into brood matrons, possibly donors down the road. There's reasons to like every one in here. There's some variation in them. I'm going to show you my two favorites, but that doesn't mean they need to be yours. There's a tremendous group in front of us, and I think all these breeders need to be commended.
Alors, parmi les 4 groupes de la race Hereford, en première position, chapeau numéro 42, propriété de Hurley Bird Farm avec Hurley Bird Beyoncé. Et en deuxième position, chapeau numéro 29, de Stillbrook Farm avec Stillbrook Nova.
A really high quality top end of this class. Two different in their type and kind. For me, this big broody red heifer is just awesome. This is a stout hip, really big bodied, good bone, good moving kind of a heifer that'll go out and produce in the pasture. That's my kind of female, one that just gets out and moves and has a tremendous amount of power. Now, this black heifer is the more striking, better looking individual. I tell you what, that front 1/3 is incredible. She's really high tying, awesome in her shoulder. She's good bodied. I like the hip and bone in this heifer. I just need to make her stay a little bit more true in her spine when she goes. But that's an awful good top pair of heifers. Our young lady's heifer coming in third is a really good looking flat shouldered individual, one with enough body. I would just like to modify this one's hind legs a bit. Just give her a shot more bone and make her a little bit more comfortable when she goes for her to go any higher. Our heifer coming in next is one with a tremendous amount of length. She's got some capacity. She just doesn't have the extra hip and bone of those heifers ahead of her. Our young lady's heifer rounding us off is one that's got a tremendous amount of length. She handles quite well out here. I just need to see her a little bit more comfortable and give her a little bit more true body shape for her to go any higher.
Alors, résultat dans le groupe numéro 4 pour les femelles, les génisses de l'année dans la Angus. En première position, propriété de Covey Hill avec l'exhibit Red Covey Hill. Et en deuxième position, Rock Creek Valley avec l'exhibit TVCC Donna.
Well, another really nice set of Angus heifers out here. I tell you what, this young man's heifer that goes ahead and wins, he's showing the wheels off for, this is a big bone, really elegant style of female. She's big in her rib cage, she's stout when you get in behind her, and when she sets up, she just gives you a beautiful look from the side. Would you like to give her a little bit more there right in behind her shoulder? But that's an awfully good heifer for that young man. Congratulations. Our heifer coming in next is one that's really sharp and angular in terms of the way she's made. She's stout when you get in behind her. I love the construction of that hip. She's good in terms of her body shape. She just gets a little bit bolder in terms of that shoulder. I would like to open her up just a nickel in terms of her four-ribbon heart, but that's a nice heifer to stand second. Our third place heifer gives you a really nice look from the side. She's super striking in terms of her features. She's high tying, really slim and trim about that neck, big bodied and stout. But when she goes, I just need to be her a little more fluid when she's set in motion, make her a little bit more comfortable. We got a really long-sided, good-looking one coming in next, one that's got enough body shape. I would just like to make her a notch stouter when you get in behind her. Our heifer coming in next is as big-bodied as they come. I like the way she's put together in terms of her angles. She's just a little bit shorter and quicker in terms of her maturity pattern, a little bit plainer through that chest floor. We got a really fresh one rounding off the class, one that's only got her best days ahead of her. What a nice set of Angus heifers.
We got a really nice set of junior bred heifers out here. Started the class with a real powerful individual. Here's one that's big body, big hip, heavy bone, but still attractive in her head and her neck. One that's probably pushing the boundaries of condition for me, but that doesn't take away from the goodness, the overall strength and power that she brings to the table. I love this heifer in second. There's so much about her to appreciate. My knock on her today is I need to free her up on the move. She's a little short striding. I don't know what the reason for that is. I don't see that in her structure, but I do see it playing out today in the ring. She just doesn't get out and reach as well as I'd like her to. Like the teeth set under this heifer, like the profile, like the attractiveness. Here's a heifer that again, very sound, and it was a close placing. My next three heifers were very close, and in my mind, there were some trades to make. I'd like to spread the teats out on this one a little bit. Love the femininity in the heifer, love the soundness, one that gets out and travels. Like the rib shape and the volume in her, like to make her a little stouter to stand a little higher today, but a very good, useful heifer. The heifer that's in fourth is a heifer that could have easily stood at the front of the class. For every reason I've just discussed in every heifer that came before, the one knock on her for me is she's a little coarser in her teats than I like to see at this stage. And I think down the road, when I project these heifers forward as cows, that's my knock on her. Love her body type, love her skull, love her freedom of movement. So much goodness, so much volume, so much hip. Really good heifer. Then we've got a power May heifer that follows. And you got to appreciate the pounds and the pay weight that we have here. A little coarser when you get underneath in that teat set and just doesn't quite balance up as nice as the heifers above her, but a big, powerful, very useful heifer. And we round the class out with the heifer that's a big scaled heifer that's really extended, gets up a little bit in her tail head, just not quite as much rib and volume as the heifers that lead the class.
Alors, dans la race heifer de la classe numéro 8, les génisses nés du 1er mars 24 au 31 août 2024. En première position, avec l'exhibit Mandy BF de Mercedes Mustang. En deuxième position, avec l'exhibit Arthur Dahlia de Christopher Lodge. En troisième position, d'Amanda Boucher avec RWB Monroe. En quatrième position, de Stonewood Grange avec Stonewood Rose. Et en cinquième position, de Paul Ross Stafford avec BR Amy. Et finalement, en sixième position, de Sébastien Bouchard avec Sémiac Mélodie. Pour revenir dans la race Angus, on est en train on a fait revenir les deux premiers des 5 groupes des génisses de l'année. Et on va procéder à la première, deuxième résultat du groupe total.
Well, I tell you what, we got an awfully impressive set of heifer calves out here in front of us. Truly commend all you breeders and exhibitors for bringing out a really impressive set of females all the way throughout this heifer calf division. If you're standing ringside, let's give these exhibitors a big round of applause. There's a pair of heifers out here I like real well. There's lots of options and different ways you can go. I'm just going to go ahead and show you the two that I like the best. Congratulations to you exhibitors again.
Alors, dans la race Angus, parmi les 5 groupes en première position, propriété de Rock Creek Farm, Twin Valley, avec l'exhibit RCF TVCC Agnès. Et en deuxième position, propriété de Covey Hill, avec Red Covey Hill, Bayberry.
A really powerful set of heifers here in this division. We started out with a horned heifer that's just a big volume, really broody kind of individual, really attractive through that front third, her head and her neck. It maybe like to see a little more depth in that quarter, but when you get over her top, she's big hip, tremendously big hip, big rib and feminine, moves real well, one you really have to appreciate. Fall with a really well-balanced heifer, a heifer that's maybe just a little more attractive through that chest, but one that's maybe gives you a little more shape behind, but just not the overall power and mass of that first place heifer. Very good first two heifers in this class. Third place heifer you really appreciate. You appreciate the smoothness in this heifer, the femininity in this heifer. I just don't see quite as much balance in this heifer. She gets a little weaker in that loin on the go, but one you really appreciate for the udder she's setting down, one you really like that smoothness in her hip and through that shoulder. Then the heifer that comes in fourth, just a little less power, just a little.
Il va y avoir 3 groupes. En première position, propriété de Ray Smith avec Stonewood Dreamer. En deuxième position, de High Ridge Farm avec Harvey Miss Firefly.
We've got some big, powerful heifers in this class, and again, a fair bit of variation. I started with the one that I feel balances up the best. Here's one that's really feminine and appears to be dropping what's going to be a really nice udder. One that you really like on the move, one that's deep-bodied, easy going. Like to widen her out her pins and just pull her hocks apart a little bit, give her a little more power in that regard, but you appreciate the overall balance, femininity, and especially the udder that she's dropping. Follow with a heifer that I could probably use in first if it wasn't for what I see underneath her. I'd like to tidy those teats up a little bit. Like a lot of things about this heifer. You like the volume, you like the freedom of movement, you like the length, you like the femininity, a lot of good there. Then we follow a heifer that's more like our first place heifer. Again, just like to strengthen her up in her pin set and widen her out at the ground a little bit from behind, but one that's well balanced, like to spread those teats out a little bit to move her any higher in this class. Then we've got an absolute wagon of a heifer. Here's one that's super powerful. I mean, she's big volume, she's easy going, just travels so smooth and easy, but just plainer and less feminine than the heifers that lead her in the class. Round the class out with one that you really like from a body type perspective, but I need to refine that skull to move her any higher in the class today.
Alors, résultat dans la race Hereford de la classe 9 du groupe numéro 2. En première position, de Harvey Monique, l'exhibit de Sarah Darrow, Derek Black. Et en deuxième position, Double H, Ederon Rosie de Paul et Laura Stafford. Alors, il va y avoir maintenant le troisième groupe. Puis, on finalisera la classe avec les deux premiers de chaque groupe.
Four September-born heifers out here, and the young lady's heifer that goes ahead and wins the class is incredibly long-sided, well-balanced from the side. I like the body shape. You get in behind her, she's stout, she moves well. That's a nice heifer to go ahead and win. We get into some decisions here in second through fourth. There's some awfully good things about each one of these. The heifer in second for me just travels the soundness, and I read to be the most correct in terms of her angles. I like the angle of that shoulder. She utilizes her hip and hind leg well. Our heifer coming in next is the softer-sided heifer that's better in her forerib. I like the way she travels. She's just a little shorter in her stature. I like to just make her a little bit looser in terms of her hip and hind leg, free her up in her loin. Our heifer rounding off the class is another big-scaled, good-bodied heifer, just a little bit frailer in terms of her bone work. We'd just like to give her a shot more power as she goes away.
Alors, résultat dans la classe numéro 7, la race Angus. En première position, propriété de service animal noiseux avec Sam Princesse. Et en deuxième, troisième et quatrième position, propriété de Beer Bray Farm avec High Tide, Private Joy et Bruno Sunrise.
The heifer that leads this class comes to the top quite handily for me. You appreciate the volume, the rib, the overall angularity of this heifer. Really well balanced kind of female. I wouldn't mind tidying her up underneath in that teat set a little bit, but you appreciate everything else about this heifer. Really big body, really well balanced. Like her a lot. Next heifer that follows, you like to just stretch her out in that quarter and widen her out a little bit at the ground, like what's going on underneath this heifer. Attractive fronted, well balanced, follows nicely in this group. Heifer that comes in third is one you really appreciate from the standpoint of the overall depth and capacity, a really easy moving kind of heifer, one that gets a little plainer through that front third, and one that's a nickel shorter bodied all the way around than the two heifers that lead the class. Then we have a big, powerful heifer in the fourth. Here's one with a lot of volume. Looks like she's going to be dropping a really ideal kind of udder. One that's absolutely full of calf. One that you'd just like to tidy up in that front third. Brood cow in the making. Here's one that I think has a tremendous future. Then we follow with the heifer again. Same kind of a situation where we're just not quite as attractive in that front third. When she gets out and moves, she gets a little tight in her spine, gets up a little bit in her, and like to change her in the way she sets her hock down, but a good, useful kind of heifer. Round the class out with a tremendously long-bodied heifer, one that's probably as long or longer than anything we've seen all day. Just needs a little more depth and volume and capacity to compete at this age.
Alors, résultat pour le troisième groupe dans la classe numéro 9 d'Hereford. En première position de Rebecca East avec Kids Mamma Mia. Et en deuxième position de Hicks Son avec Marilyn Monroe MLHH. Donc, on va revenir les deux premiers de chacun des trois groupes pour finaliser la classe des génisses dans la race Hereford.
We've got an awfully impressive set of Angus bred heifers out here. There's some give and take in these top two. on the stand, that second place heifer hits you with a tremendous amount of power. But where I side with this heifer that's going to lead the class is when she gets pulled to the lead. This is an incredibly sound, moving, elegant female that's just so correct in the way she's put together. I love the way she gets around the ring. She's fresh. She's good-bodied. Is she the stoutest? No, but that's an awfully good female to go ahead and win this class. We get into the absolute power heifer of the class. This young lady shows the wheels off this heifer. She's super striking in her features. She's big-footed, big-boned, wildly good looking up front. You love the body. Just when she goes away from you, she pulls those hocks together. She gets pretty narrow at the ground. Just need to free her up and stouten her up for her to beat that first place heifer. Our third place heifer is an incredibly long-sided, well-balanced one that's good in terms of her skeleton. She just sacrifices a little bit in terms of performance. Would just like to make that one a notch bigger. Her next heifer leaving the ring there is just really sound and practical in the way she's put together. Good bodied, stout hip. She doesn't have that extra bone or look those heifers above her. And her heifer rounding off the class is one that's long-sided and good bodied. Just need to modify the way she moves, but an awfully good set of breds.
Alors, résultat dans la race Angus, classe numéro 8 des Génisses. En première position, propriété de Charlie Oates avec Oates Prime Rose. En deuxième position, de Vos Vegas Farm avec Vos Vegas Missy. En troisième position, de Grundy Stanley Cattle avec Missy. En quatrième position, de Ranch Dynamic avec Dynamic Mira Firestar. Et en cinquième position, de Bear Bray Farm avec Atlantis Echo. Dans la race Angus, nous allons avoir pour la classe 9, 1, 2, 3 groupes. Donc, on va retenir les 2 premiers de chacun des groupes.
We've had a really nice set of bred heifers paraded before us today. If you would join with me, give these exhibitors a round of applause. I've described these cattle as I've seen them class to class. I'm not going to belabor that. I'm going to go out and show you my two favorites.
Alors, dans la race Angus, la championne junior, dans la race Hereford, pardon, chapeau numéro 47, championne junior de Mercedes-Mustang avec BF D87 Mandy et la réserve junior de Ray Smith Stonewood avec l'exhibit Stonewood Dreamer, chapeau numéro 49.
We got a nice set of Angus heifers out here. Young lady's heifer that goes ahead and wins, just blends a lot of good things together. She's good looking in the way she's made up front. She's good enough in terms of her body. You like how stout she is when you get in behind her, and she travels well. Congratulations to you. Get into some more decisions following this heifer. We got a second place heifer that's just really well balanced in the way she's put together. She's long-sided, she's good-bodied, she's sound enough when she goes. Would just like to give her a shot more bone and shorten up her teats just a nickel. Well, that's a nice heifer. Coming into the third place heifer, this is one with just a little bit more barrel, maybe a notch more bone, but along with that extra bone, she gets a little bit plainer about her skull, a little bit plainer in her chest. That's a nice heifer. And the heifer coming in next is a long-sided one that just gets to be a little bit underneath herself when she goes. I'd like her to move a little bit more comfortably and be better in her spine while tightening her up a little bit in her chest. And our young man's heifer that rounds us off is an incredibly long-sided, good-bodied one. But again, I just got to make that one move a nickel freer and give her a shot more body and power to go any higher.
Alors, résultat du groupe numéro 1 dans la classe 9 dans la race Angus. En première position, propriété de Outset Cattle et Sumland Road avec l'exhibit Barbara. Et en deuxième position, de Service Animal Noiseux avec San Wall Street Barbie.
Another really nice class of Angus bred heifers out here. We got an absolute powerhouse that comes to the top of this class quite handily. I tell you what, this is one striking, bold-featured individual that's just huge-bodied, stout-hipped, and it's really, really sharp-looking. Gives you an awesome look from behind. From the side, she's really intriguing in her profile. Would just like her to take a little bit longer step off both ends of her skeleton, but that's an awfully good heifer to go ahead and win. We get into a really practical heifer that I like a lot coming in second. One that's correct in terms of her shoulder. I like the body shape. She's stout enough when you get in behind her. Is she the prettiest fronted heifer? No, but that's a sound traveling brood cow that's going to stand second today. We get into a really sharp-looking heifer in third, one that's good in terms of her body and gives you an awesome look up front. I've just got to modify the way she utilizes that hip and hind leg and tidy her up a little bit in terms of her teats for her to go any higher. Get into a pair of red heifers that offer a lot of the same in terms of boldness of body and stoutness. The heifer that I chose to go with just got an extra shot of bone and is a little bit better in terms of the angle of her shoulder. We get into another real nice red heifer that's super big in terms of her top. She's stout when you get in behind her. Just a little bit shorter all around in terms of her length of body and length of hip. Our black heifer rounding us off is really a good-bodied brood cow in the making. That's going to go ahead and do a great job for that young lady. Congratulations.
Alors, résultat pour le groupe numéro 2 dans la classe 9 dans la race Angus. En première position, propriété de Vos Vegas avec Vos Vegas Frontier. Et en deuxième position, de Service Animal Noiseux avec Sun Justification Room. On va procéder maintenant au troisième groupe, puis on ramènera les deux premiers de chacun des groupes.
We've got a really nice set of 2-year-old females in production in front of us. I started the class with a big, strong kind of cow with a January heifer calf, a very attractive, fronted, long-sided kind of calf in front of a very nice cow. And I see the mating worked in my mind looking at this. I see everything I see in that cow that I'd just like to refine a little bit. I see in that heifer calf. I commend these breeders for that. I like this female from the standpoint of body, from the standpoint of production for sure. Probably like to refine those teats just a little bit, and that's where our second place female has the advantage. This is undoubtedly the best uttered female in the class. She gives us some overall power and scale to our first place pair. She doesn't have quite the length and refinement through her front end. She gets a little looser in her top, but boy, you appreciate her freedom of movement, her soundness, that other quality is impeccable, and she's got a tremendous calf in front of her. Very close pace, placing, very good pair to follow into second. Our third place is an April female with a May heifer calf. A little harder to appreciate this May heifer calf in this class. I don't see quite the power that I see in the two calves that led the class. Very nice female. Maybe level that udder out a little bit, but again, a very nice pair that met some strong competition. As we move into the fourth place, we've got a female that's just a little shellier, not quite as much volume naturally, not quite as much muscle or shape, but doing a really nice job on a March calf. Really like this pair as well. And we round out the class with a female that's just a little rawer in her kind, not as highly presented today, but with a big March bull calf beside her. You appreciate her from the standpoint of function. She's one that looks like she's got longevity in her udder sound, her feeder sound, her structure sound, and she's well on her way to a long, productive life.
Alors, résultat pour la race Hereford, en première position pour la classe numéro 11, les vaches avec leur premier veau. Propriété de Eden Meadow avec l'exhibit HMF Lass. En deuxième position, chapeau numéro 66 de Crystal Brook avec l'exhibit Lola. En troisième position de Black River avec l'exhibit Arthur Victory. En quatrième position de High Ridge Farm avec l'exhibit Eagle Pistol Annie. Et en cinquième position de X & Son avec l'exhibit Blair Atoll Real Lady.
We've got a really nice top pair of females that you can go either way with. This heifer that goes ahead and wins for this young lady is just super striking and elegant in her design. She's so good about her shoulder. I love her head. I love the way she ties that neck in high out of the top side of that shoulder. She's stout when you get in behind her. She's big-bodied, and she travels relatively well. I really like that heifer. Heifer coming in second's a little bit shorter statured, but one that's got a tremendous amount of volume. She has a really good look from the side. You like the angles of her skeleton. I just like to pull her tail head back, level her out through that hip just a hair. But that's an awfully good heifer that's going to do some outstanding things for that breeder. We got a really nice practical heifer coming in third, one that's long-sided, big-bodied, and just broody in her kind with all that power. She just gets a little bit plainer about the attachment of that head, gets a little bit plainer in her chest floor, but that's a very practical, functional female that's going to make a positive impact in that young lady's herd down the road. We got a really nice profiling heifer coming in next, one that's long-sided and good-bodied. This one just needs to be stoutened up when you get in behind her for her to go any higher. We've got another nice heifer coming in next, one with a tremendous amount of length and some foot and bone underneath her. I've just got to freshen this heifer up a bit for her to go any higher, make her a little bit softer in terms of her center body. Our heifer rounding off our class is just a really well-balanced, good-bodied, good-looking kind of a heifer that just doesn't have enough timber underneath her. I'd like to just modify that hip and hind leg. But what a nice set of bred heifers from these exhibitors.
Alors, c'est ce qui complète le troisième groupe de la classe numéro 9. En première position, propriété de Black Art Livestock avec G-Star Miss Elsa. Et en deuxième position, propriété de Fusion Livestock avec Fusion TB Lass. Donc, on va ramener les deux premiers de chacune des classes, chacun des groupes, je veux dire, pour finaliser la classe numéro 9.
I got to say, I'm awfully pleased with these 6 heifers we have out here. You could go each and any way you would like to, but there's 2 out here that need to be in the top for me. That's that chance.
Over the years, we've shown quite a few pairs, and if anybody's been involved in this business, showing cattle is a lot of work. It takes a lot to get them to this point. It takes a lot once we're here for them to be presented as well as they're presented for us today. It takes a bit of an army. It's a lot of work. just multiply that when you go to show in pairs. These cows, by the time they get into production, they're usually tired of this game and they've had enough fun, and they just as soon be at home. And especially when you get these big calves, early born calves nursing on these cows, they just as soon wean them and head back out to the pasture. So I really appreciate these exhibitors for the work they do and the cattle they present before us, especially bringing these pairs to town. We've got a big, strong bull calf in front of this cow that leads the class. I believe this cow is 8 years old, is that correct? 7 or coming 8? And you really appreciate the overall soundness of the cover for their age. You look at the udder quality, the foot quality, the soundness, and then you put this big, stout, powerful bull calf in front of her. They make a tremendous pair. The pair that comes in second, again, no slouch. Good, strong calf, really like the profile on the female. Maybe you refine those teats and nickel, but again, appreciate the age and the production of this cow. Really love the forerib, the femininity, the volume. Big, powerful kind of cow. Great pair, great set of pairs to start this class. We have a female in third, again, big, strong bull calf beside her. You appreciate the cow's production. She's really angular, really feminine. I like to refine that udder just a nickel, but I'll tell you what, there's a big producing pair, and you appreciate them for that. As we work down the class, we've got a big, soggy, loose-made kind of calf in front of a female that's kind of the same. Not quite as refined as the female in front of her, but one that you appreciate the scale and production that she brings to town. And we round the class out with a pair where the calf that just doesn't have quite as much power, quite as much bone, quite as much substance. But again, you really appreciate the udder quality on this female. And again, I commend all these exhibitors for the work it takes to get pairs to town. Congratulate them for me.
Alors, dans la race Hereford, pour la classe numéro 12, les vaches avec le veau, les vaches nées matures. Donc, en première position,
Again, just an awfully deep set of Angus females we have out here out here in the ring from the Septembers all the way to the Januaries. An awfully impressive set of females, and you can flip them any way you'd like to. Just depends on where your priorities land, whether it's, is one sound enough, is she powerful enough, is this one good enough looking, and it's my decision today, and there's a heifer that I'm going to use. We're going to stick with that one out of Class 3, and we're going to follow with the heifer out of Class 2. Congratulations.
2 fois de la nuit. Les 2 journées.
Il y a 6, mais
Il y a 6
par
têtes.
par.
Il y a 6
Ouais,
têtes.
une tête, ça.
Chaîne par chevaux, là, ouais, c'est ça.
D'accord?
Ouais, ouais.
Un championnat.
Dans la race Angus, la championne junior, chapeau 213, propriété de Charlie Oates avec Oates Prime Rose. Puis la réserve junior, chapeau numéro 223, propriété de Vos Vegas avec l'exhibit Vos Vegas Frontier.
Là, tes chapeaux sont dans le bureau, ça se peut-tu, ça?
Les chapeaux pour les jeunes éleveurs, les autres, ils sont en.
Les autres?
Je les ai eus, oui. On a eu les catalogues, puis on a fait. Il y avait juste. J'ai 6 éleveurs, il y avait 7 catalogues. On a demandé à Jean de refaire des photocopies. Ça a bien été. Hey, quand j'étais un jeune homme, quand j'étais jeune, tu marchais autour. Tu marchais assis. Ben, ça répond à cette question-là. 2, ils m'ont clôturé partout. Si je me mets là, j'ai plus d'accès à ce bon ici. Ah non, là, ici, c'est vraiment. C'est la clôture totale. On peut pas se faire attaquer ici. On est correct. Écoute, même si je peux pas, je sais pas où sortir. Là-bas, c'est ça. On va se voir l'après-midi. Oui. Tu vas avoir le droit à l'exclusivité.
It's been an absolute honor and pleasure to sort through these Hereford cattle today. We've had a tremendous set in front of us. I'd like you to join with me and give these exhibitors a round of applause. I think when you see this lineup in front of you, I think it's easy to appreciate the type and kind that we have. We've got some consistency. We've got cattle that are sound, that are functional, that are good from the ground up, cows that are going to be sound, females that are going to be sound, uddered females that are going to be productive. They're feminine, but they've got added volume and capacity. Cattle that are correct in their makeup, kind that have some eye appeal. I think that's important. I think when you go to the auction mart or whether you have an order buyer looking at your calves, your cattle have to have some eye appeal. They have to have some style. Plain cattle are plain cattle, and they'll be plain cattle in front of any judge, and that judge has a checkbook or not, whether he's your order buyer in the front row at the auction mart, those cattle have to have some look to them. And that look starts with structure, starts at the ground, cattle that can go on and gain and produce a valuable and nutritious product for our industry, and also seed stock that's going to go ahead and make a positive impact for the people that these breeders are selling them to. With that, I'm going to go show you my couple favorites. It's been a great show. Give these exhibitors a round of applause.
Thank you.
Alors, la grande championne dans la race Hereford pour l'Expo Boeuf 2025, propriété de Stonewood Grange avec l'exhibit Stonewood Rose, et la réserve grande championne, propriété de Hidden Meadow avec l'exhibit HMF Class 5L, chapeau numéro 69.
Just a lone entry over here, and this is a September 2-year-old. This is a really big-bodied, stout, good-looking one that could sure stand some competition. That's a nice heifer. Congratulations to you.
Alors, dans la classe 10 de la race Angus, on avait qu'un seul exhibit, chapeau 234, propriété de Range Dynamique, avec l'exhibit Dynamique L'Écho.
C'est l'Expo Boeuf qui est plus fort. Mais tout est aux autres. L'Expo Boeuf, c'est plus festif, c'est plus. Les montres sont beaucoup plus sympathiques, ils sont smart, les gens. Je vais vous le dire, c'est vraiment le fun. On a une belle gang, puis le monde nous reconnaît, puis les musiciens, tout le monde dit hey, c'est le fun, on va vous voir encore cette année. Puis, c'est même Jean Morin, il en revient pas, il dit là, puis ils connaissent tout. Fait que c'est comme une famille. Ça se déroule ça à votre goût, hein? Parfait. Ça va bien, Joanie, toi? S'il y avait quelque chose, tu me dirais, Joanie. Il fallait que je sache que tu me le dises pas. Je te chicanerais. J'espère que tu me le dirais.
right up here, boys. Well, I tell you what, we've got 3 awfully nice 2-year-olds out here, and there's one individual out of the 3 units that really hits you incredibly hard, and that's this bull calf on this red cow. This is just a stout boned, big-ended, really thick kind of a calf that's burly in his kind. He's appropriate in his scrotal development. Couldn't paint a better one. She's a mile long. She's good enough bodied. She's sound. She's got a nice practical bull calf on him. She's just not quite as stout as those ones ahead of her. But what a set of pairs these exhibitors brought to town. Congratulations.
Alors, résultat.
Head wins the class, has just a beautiful heifer calf in front of her, big-bodied, stout-featured, sound-footed. You really like the hip and hind leg in this one. Would like to freshen her up just a little bit up front, but then you get to this cow. This is a powerhouse. She's a mile long. She's super bold about her rib cage. You like how stout she is. She travels exceptionally well. For me, I would just like to extend that forudder a little bit just to make that ideal, but no, that's still more than an acceptable, and a tidy udder underneath that 3-year-old. That's an awfully nice pair. Coming into our second place pair with the heifer calf, a striking calf that's got some body, got some hip, a cow with a really nice look from the side. She's stout enough when you get in behind her. Again, I would just like to tidy up that udder structure a little bit and free up that heifer calf on the move, but that's an awfully nice pair. Round off these mature cows with this bull calf in front, one that's incredibly long-sided and sound in his build. He's correct in his angles. Just a really good kind of a bull calf. The cow is just an athletic, good-bodied one I just like to give a shot more timber underneath her, give her a little bit more bone, and then make her a little bit stouter for her to go any higher.
Alors, résultat dans la classe 12 pour les vaches avec leur premier veau. En première position, propriété de Ranch Covey Hill et de Ranch Iron Hill avec l'exhibit Covey Hill Pride. En deuxième position, propriété de Beer Bray Farm avec Stunner Sunrise. Et en troisième position, également de Beer Bray Farm avec l'exhibit Spartacus Edda.
Yes.
I hadn't actually intended to comment on this class, but they tell me I got to place all three, and I'll tell you what, this, I said I've had a tough class earlier in the day. Boy, this one's tough, really, in fairness. We've got three tremendous groups, and I think every group has
Alors, le résultat dans le race Hereford pour le groupe d'éleveurs. Alors, Stonewood en première position. Chris Lodge en deuxième position, premier éleveur. En deuxième position avec 27 points, Bar GM. Et en première position avec 40 points, Stonewood. Alors, félicitations. Alors, on va faire rentrer maintenant les progénitures.
What are we doing?
Hey, parle dans le micro tantôt aussi.
How do you line up?
Peut-être qu'il va y avoir moins de monde qui vont l'écouter à cause de ça. Mais j'avais le micro juste là, je parlais à Chris, là, c'est comme, que j'ai pas vu. Je parlais à Chris en même temps. Yes. Qu'est-ce qui reste? Get of Sire. On a-tu des mères? Okay. Oh, you coming for a picture with Chris?
Oh, I can do
Oh,
that.
yeah. Yes. Well, 2 minutes. Allez, go, go. It's okay. C'est tout, on a dit. Ah, c'est là.
Ben là,
Mais non, mais. Mais non, il m'a fait le. Hey, il m'a fait le saut. Hey, je pensais
Ça
pas
arrive
qu'il
tellement
était.
souvent.
Je pensais pas qu'il était là. Hey, Chris, il arrive là, random.
Ouais, mais c'est avec la risque. Comment une tabarnak?
Now out here in our mature champion cow, I didn't get a chance to comment on that last class, so I will take this time to do so. That pair that goes ahead and wins that last class, that cow just cuts a beautiful look from the side. She's long, she's level, she's really sound moving. I like her body shape. She's got a really good udder and a really nice heifer calf in front of her. Got a little bit more age on the cow that's coming in second. She's a mile long. She's an absolute tank with an awesome heifer calf in front of her. That cow's just a little bit past her prime condition for me today, but I tell you what, that was an awfully nice set of females. I don't need to talk about the two from this first class. We're going to go ahead and use the champion from your first class and then the champion from your second class. Congratulations.
Oui, merci. Une chance qu'elle n'a pas décidé de péter.
Well, it takes an awful lot of work at home over the past 7 months, 8 months to get these pairs to town, and all these exhibitors out here in the ring have just done a tremendous job. So I'd like to commend you, exhibitors and breeders, and everybody standing ringside to give these guys a big round of applause. You know, every single one of these females out here is going to go out and do great things for their respective programs. There's a pair of pairs out here that I really like, and I'll go show them to you.
Alors, la grande championne de l'Expo Boeuf dans la race Angus 2025, propriété de RK Cattle avec l'exhibit Red Covey Hill Lorrain et la réserve grande championne, chapeau numéro 239, propriété de Ranch Covey Hill et Ranch Iron Hill avec l'exhibit Covey Hill Pride.